Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into an absolutely beautiful story drawn from author John Pearson. It's all about a retired church secretary named Janet. And let me tell you, it offers one of the most profound personal reflections on faithfulness and quiet service that you're ever going to hear. It's just a wonderful, gentle reminder of how truly remarkable things can happen when we least expect them. I love how Pearson sets the stage right out of the gate with this quote. It didn't happen while she was flying first class, but on a bus. You see, today's big lesson in leadership and faith, it doesn't come from some glittering boardroom or an exclusive executive retreat. It comes from a very, very humble place. This isn't a story about a high-powered CEO pulling strings. It's a story about a secretary, and ultimately, it's about how God moves through faithful people. All right, section 1. Meet Janet, the power of quiet faithfulness. So, like I said, Janet wasn't a CEO. She wasn't some hotshot manager climbing the corporate ladder. She was a church secretary. But as you'll see as we go through this explainer, her life is just a massive testament to how extraordinary things happen through quiet, faithful servants. Think about this for a second. Janet's career was defined by what we might call analog faithfulness. We're talking decades of sterling, completely unseen administrative work in various churches. She cheerfully knocked out thousands of projects on time, totally behind the scenes. And she received no awards, no plaques, zero trophies, and honestly, shouldn't even want them. She survived crazy, demanding deadlines in an era way before email or overnight shipping. She was perfectly retyping documents onto messy mimeograph stencils. It was hard, invisible work, but she did the whole shebang with a genuinely joyful heart. Well, when Janet finally moved into a Christian retirement center, the plan was pretty straightforward. A nice season of rest. Just let others serve her for a change. But that restful retirement didn't exactly pan out that way. Her community almost instantly became a ministry magnet for her spiritual gifts. Down literally every single hallway, there was a new to-do list for a seasoned servant like her. She was always encouraging the lonely, offering a listening ear, and she frequently baked these amazing little apricot breads to deliver to the other residents. Get this. One Thanksgiving, she actually squeezed 12 residents into her tiny one-room apartment just to serve turkey and turn the holiday into a party for people who might have otherwise been totally alone. She just couldn't stop serving. Which brings us to section 2, the microcrisis. 75 miles on a bouncing bus. Let's set the scene for the main event here. Janet is traveling just 75 miles for a quick overnight visit. And as the bus bounces along, Janet, who is ever the meticulous planner, is praying and thinking through her upcoming deliveries of that famous apricot bread. And then, boom, it hits her like screeching brakes. The recipe required orange zest. She'd gone out and bought all the other ingredients, but she completely forgot to grab a single, absolutely crucial orange. Now, to you and me, that might seem like a super low-stakes problem, right? But for someone with Janet's servant heart, this was a deeply felt crisis. She was just completely torn up about it. In her mind, she had this beautiful plan mapped out. She was imagining the warm aroma of the freshly baked bread and the happy, surprised smiles of the seniors she was going to bless. But the stark reality hitting her on that bus was that the loaves just wouldn't be the same without that special orange peel flavoring. And worse yet, her tight travel schedule meant there was absolutely no time to make a round-trip bus ride to the grocery store on baking day. No way. She was just crushed at the thought of letting her unsuspecting friends down. So here we are at section 3, the miracle, a surprising provision. Janet is sitting there on this bouncing bus, feeling a very real sense of sadness. Now, she's not the type to easily give in to despair, so she tries to just look out the window, watch the miles go by, and distract herself. But it just wasn't working. She knew she needed that orange. As she's sitting there in the dim light of the bus, feeling this subtle heartache over a baking ingredient, suddenly, a round object bumps her foot, just out of nowhere. She reaches down, feeling around the dark floor of the bus to figure out what just bumped into her. And as she pulls it up into the light, she realizes what it is. It's an orange, but not just any random orange. Janet described it as the most beautiful, round, gorgeous orange she had seen in years. Literally a golden treasure rolling right up to the feet of a retired secretary who just wanted to bake some bread for her friends. What are the odds? But Janet, being the impeccably honest and humble person she is, didn't just pocket it. Actually, scratch that. She did hold it wishfully for a second, but she knew deep down she had to return it to whoever dropped it.
So she turns around in her seat, smiling broadly, totally ready to hand it back. But there's no one behind her. In fact, as she looks further back, she realizes there are no passengers behind her at all. The rows are completely empty. It was this quiet, highly personal little miracle, seemingly orchestrated just for her.
Moving on to Section 4, The Pivot, the author's reflection. When Janet Humley shared this story with author John Pearson just hours after it happened, he noted that it literally made his heart beat fast. Pearson realized right then and there that this wasn't just some sweet anecdote about fruit. It was a profound lesson that really forced him to reflect on his own life and leadership style.
Pearson actually made this really honest confession. He said, "Lord, I've thought up these great ideas for you. Now I need you to provide the funds." He realized that with his management background, it was way too easy to just switch on to autopilot. He'd launch trial balloons, re-engineer programs, and then basically just ask God to fund his personal agenda. He was the one trying to drive the bus, so to speak. And it presents such a striking contrast when you look at it. On the left side, you have the manager operating on autopilot, pushing personal agendas, and honestly, often finding themselves totally barren of miracle stories. But on the right side, you have the apprentice, someone exactly like Janet, someone living a life of quiet faithfulness, actively experiencing real, tangible miracles. It really begs the question, doesn't it? Why are the strategies of the managers so bountiful, but their miracle stories so incredibly rare, while faithful apprentices like Janet find miracles literally rolling right up to their feet?
Which leads us to Section 5, the call to apprenticeship, embracing humble service. Pearson takes Janet's story and uses it to issue a really earnest challenge to all of us. He urges us to step back from that modern CEO mindset. You know, that feeling where we think we have to control and manage absolutely everything, and instead embrace a life of humble service.
To really hammer this home, Pearson references author Eugene H. Peterson, who defined disciples beautifully as people who spend our lives apprenticed to our master, Jesus Christ. This right here is the core of true kingdom work. It's not about being the boss, it's about being the student, the faithful servant who is simply waking up every day trying to do the next right thing for the people around them. You know, Pearson was so moved by Janet's life that he actually dedicated his management book to her. He wrote, "Without Janet and her servant colleagues worldwide, no leader or manager would make it through the day." And he hit the nail on the head there. It's a powerful acknowledgement that the unseen, faithful workers, the ones baking the bread, doing the quiet tasks, taking care of the seniors, they have so much to teach the rest of us. And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. I want to leave you with two really provocative questions to chew on. Is the word apprentice on your business card? Or do you already feel like you know everything and are just busy pushing your own plans? If you actually stepped out of that manager's chair and truly embraced the humble role of an apprentice, what quiet miracles might be orchestrated in your own life? It's something deeply worth thinking about, for sure. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible story today. Keep learning, keep serving, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.